All right, so we're going to do speed today. All right. You can actually reference lesson number 30. Okay. Anyone needs to go to the toilet, water, stationery, all with you? I'll give you 10 seconds. Ooh, someone dropped off. Is it me? No. Okay. So lesson 30 will have your speed questions. Okay. Now, just a quick recap on speed. Okay, so speed, you will have speed, distance, and time. So if we were to use the speed, distance, or speed, time, or speed formula triangle, okay, you have distance, speed, and time. So in this case, this triangle is very useful so that you don't have to remember the formula. So this line refers to divide, and this is multiply. Okay, so based on the, you've not started speed yet. Okay, never mind. So I hope, Crystal, I hope you have gone through the videos before the lesson so that you can actually follow the lesson. If you cannot, just let me know. Okay, now, in order to find, oh, Hannah also. Okay, can. So at any time, if you have questions to ask me, you just leave your message in the chat, okay? So Kevin's here. Okay, now, so for speed, you have three things. You have speed, distance, and time. And if I were to put this in the formula triangle, okay, what I can do is I can actually come up with a formula. What do I mean by that? Now, in order to find the distance traveled, okay, so distance is here, right? So you see this line here? So distance is equals to speed times time. Okay, distance traveled is equals to speed times time. And if I want to find speed, okay, in order to find speed is equals to, speed is here, right? Is equals to distance divided by time. Okay, is equals to distance divided by time. And to find time will be, time is here, is equals to distance divided by speed. Okay, speed is refers to the distance traveled per unit time. Okay, so the definition of speed is distance traveled per unit time. So the distance measurement and the time measurement, okay, so distance traveled per unit time, that means the distance can be measured in kilometers, meters, and cm. And the time can also be measured in hours, in based on 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 second. Okay, km, meters, and centimeters. So the unit for speed will be kilometers per hour, meters per minute, or cm per second. Sometimes you can also have meters per second. Okay, so the units for speed, so these are the units for speed. It is measured and it is written with the slash. cm per hour, very rare. Okay, usually it is just kilometers per hour, meters per minute, meters per second, and centimeters per second. cm per hour is usually very rare. Okay, all right, so these are the measurement, or rather what you will find in the topic on speed. Okay, this is what you will usually find in the topic of speed. So let's go into the first question. All right, now, question, you see that the answer that you want is in kilometers per hour. Miles per hour is not covered in the Singapore syllabus, but rather miles are usually measured in the American metric or unit of measurement. Okay, so we don't use miles here. We don't use miles here, so we only stick to kilometers, meters, and centimeters. Okay, so because the speed that you want is measured in kilometers per hour. Now, let me go back to this. Missed out one thing. Now, when we talk about speed, okay, when we talk about speed, we know that speed is actually distance traveled per unit time, right? And speed is measured based on distance divided by time. Now, if we have another one that we can find is average speed. Average speed is when a car is traveling at constant speed and it stops and continue. So if you were to find the average speed of a car, for example, it follows the same formula as this, except that it has the word total on it. So average speed is equals to total distance divided by the total time taken. Okay, average speed is equals to total distance divided by the total time taken. So in this question, for question number 1, you're supposed to find his average speed in kilometers per hour. So if it's in kilometers per hour and you know that average speed is equals to distance, total distance divided by total time, right? So in this case, the total distance must be in kilometers and the total time must be in hours so that you can have the speed being kilometers per hour. Okay, now, so from here, to find the average speed, we know that the total distance is 2,250. I need to convert 2,250 meters into kilometers. So what do I do? Yes, correct. Hannah is right. So what do I do? Anyone? You can just unmute and answer my question. Yes, Hannah, that's right. Okay, Marine got it. So what you're doing is to divide this by 1,000 to give you 2.25 kilometers. And for the time taken, I must convert it to hours, right? Because I need it to be in kilometers an hour. Okay, so what do I do to the time? Times 2. Why do I times 2? This is times 60. Very good. So I times, times 60 or divide by 60? Times 2 to get 60. Okay, never mind. So this is the same as divide by 60 to give me half an hour. So total distance will be 2.25 kilometers divided by half an hour to give me 4.5. And my answer is 4.5 kilometers per hour. Okay, for those of you who've not done speed yet in school, let me know if you cannot follow. I will go over again. Okay, so just based on the formula that we have here, whereby average speed is equals to total distance divided by the total time taken. So in this case, the total time taken is half an hour. And the speed traveled in half an hour is 2,250. Now, alternatively, if you cannot remember the formula, okay, so alternatively, if you cannot remember the formula, suddenly you panic in the exam, you cannot find the formula. Now, 30 minutes, Michael took to walk 2,250 meters. That means in 1 hour, I times 2 here, right? all I need to do is I times 2 here. This is what Brian suggested as well. So I just have to times 2 to give me 4,500 meters and to convert this into 4.5 kilometers. Okay. Alternatively, you can do this way as well if you forgot the formula lah. All right. That's an alternative answer. So don't need to panic if you cannot remember. All right. Now, the rest of you, turn on your camera so that I know that you all are there. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right, Ken, thanks so much. Okay, so let's take a look at question 2. So question 2 is the same, but notice that, okay, so the first thing that you need when you see a speed question is take note of the units given to each number. So I have 2.8 kilometers, speed as in 80 meters per minute. Now I want how many minutes to the question. So if my speed is in meters per minute, that means my distance must be in, can it be in kilometers? Can it be in kilometers? Can or not? Hello. Yes, Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Yes.
Speed must be in, is okay to be in kilometers? Cannot. Because if everything is in meters per minute, that means the speed must also also be in meters and not in kilometers. Yes. Correct. Okay, so now, so I times 1,000. Yes, Hannah, that's right. Okay, so I times 1,000 to give me 2,800 meters. So Ali walked from his home. He walked to the playground, which is 2,800 meters away, and an average speed of 80 meters per minute. Now, if you were to draw the triangle, okay, so if you were to draw the triangle, so that you don't need to remember the formula, right? Okay, so if I have distance and I have speed, so I have distance, I have speed, what can I find? So based on the triangle, can you see that I tick this, that means I can find time taken. So to find the time taken will be, I take the distance divided by the speed to give me 35. So in this case, it is 35 minutes. It is easier actually to change the distance rather than change the speed. Okay. Now remember 80 meters per minute, it is actually tagged to speed. Okay. So that means in this case, it is always easier to change the individual units to fit the units that you want rather than change the unit of the speed. Okay. Now, so in this case, we change the distance and change it to 2,800 meters so that we can use it whereby the distance or the time taken is equals to distance divided by speed, which is 35 minutes. Now, question number 3. So I'm going to have my distance speed formula there. So a restaurant is 430 meters from Mickey's house. So if Mickey's house to the restaurant, the distance is 430 meters. Mickey took 20 minutes to walk from his house to the restaurant, and because of this word and back, what is the total distance that he covers in 20 minutes? What is the distance that he covers in 20 minutes? Yes, he went to the restaurant and went home. That's a total of 860 meters. So the total distance traveled, okay, the total distance traveled is 860. He took a total of 20 minutes. So again, you must be able to understand this statement. Mickey took 20 minutes to walk from his house to the restaurant and back. So total distance traveled Go restaurant, come back 860 meters for 20 minutes. Not go restaurant 20 minutes, come back to the house 20 minutes. That's not